Hi guys, so this video is going to be a tutorial on how to block eyebrows, which is great for cosplay and drag makeup. The products that we're going to be using today are spirit gum, skin wax, translucent powder, super white powder, and foundation. So the first step that we need to do is actually to clean our brows. So you're going to take some rubbing alcohol on a cotton swab and just really rub that into your eyebrow. Make sure you're getting rid of any old makeup, any oil. Just want a nice clean surface to start with. So we're going to just really wipe that, really get in there, make sure it's nice and cleaned off. Make sure it's nice and dry. So the first step is just to take our spirit gum and we're going to Okay, so we're just going to take a nice healthy amount, make sure it's not dripping everywhere, and we're going to rub that into our eyebrows. You want to try and rub against it so that it gets in behind the hairs and gets right in there. So then we're going to take, I use a ratty old comb that I just keep for this, and I just keep cleaning it for that. A spoolie for eyebrows works too. I suggest a metal one over a plastic one. The only thing about the spoolies is I find they're more expensive and not as easy to clean afterwards, so I keep using this old comb. And we're going to comb all of our hairs in an upward direction so they're laying nice and flat. Depending on how bushy your eyebrows are, it's going to decide how easy this is.
I know it's real attractive looking.
So then we're going to put another layer. I always make sure that it's these little straggly hairs down at the end that always want to pop first. So make sure you give those a nice second healthy amount. You'll find when you put your second layer on, that'll actually it'll almost loosen up what you just did and make it pop again. That's okay, that's normal. Like, see what it just did there that popped up? That just means there wasn't enough in behind it to begin with, so we'll go over it with another layer. And then we'll comb it up again. You want to try to not have it all up your forehead too. You want to keep it pretty isolated to your hairs. So then I stop using the comb part and I start using the end, and I just like really push it in. Some people suggest using like a spoon to do that, which you can use just as well. But yeah, so if your hairs are going in the right direction and you just want to really smooth it out, especially for these like little bitches at the end. It gets tacky really quick, so when you first put it on, if you wait like 30 seconds, it'll be nice and tacky to comb down. I don't suggest waiting though, I suggest start combing right away, because if it gets tacky and starts to dry in a weird position, it's not going to go down smoothly. So right away keep combing it. You might take a few brush strokes to get it to actually lay flat though. So we're just going to make sure that nothing's popping up right now, and we're going to tap it, and it's a little bit tacky. So when it's mostly dry, we are going to powder it. So I did show both translucent powder and a white powder. You can use either one. Personally, I really like to use the white powder just because I am very fair and my eyebrows are a little bit dark, so it helps to really cover them better. So just dabbing in some powder, and we're going to just layer that right on there nice and thick. And what this is doing is it's going to create a barrier for the wax so that the wax isn't eating away at your glue. And we're just going to brush off the excess. Nice and light. You don't want to go too rough because then you'll end up popping out right away. Next thing we're getting is our skin wax. So this is literally just like a paintbrush for like any kind of paint. I use this just because it has a nice smooth end. You can use the back of a makeup brush. You can use anything that's a nice small little smooth tool. So we're going to take a nice little glob. It is about the size of my pinky nail, a little bit smaller. And we are just going to rub that all along. That's more than enough for one eyebrow. And what we're doing here is we're filling in all the cracks between the hairs and making sure everything's nice and smooth. A lot of people when they're starting out think they need to use a lot of wax. If you've done a good job of combing it down, then you shouldn't need to use a lot. And you want to keep doing this in upward motion so that you're going with how you've combed down your hairs. So I kind of go up and out. So now we're going to powder again. Once again, you can use translucent or you can use the pure white. It's up to you, whatever you find works best. So if you look from the side, you can't see any hairs popping up. And once again, we're going to get rid of the excess and just do it really smoothly so that you're not tearing into the wax and making a rough edge. So now if I was doing my regular makeup, I would put on my primer everywhere and I would do my foundation as part of my regular foundation. I'm just using a cheap stick. It's Joe Fresh from Shoppers Drug Mart. And we're just going to cover that up. And just being very gentle when we do this. Taking a sponge, this beauty blender, and we're just gently tapping. Once again, we don't want to be swiping, we don't want to be rubbing hard. And you want to use a sponge for this, you don't want to use a brush. The brush is more likely to really dig into it. So once you have all your foundation on, I'm just going to do this upper part of my face. And we're going to set that with powder. This time I'm going to use the translucent powder for sure. And as always, we're getting rid of all of the excess. So now I don't have an eyebrow. It's that simple. When you're drawing on your new brows, depending on what kind of shape you're doing, you want to try and keep it near the same spot, because if you go too high, it's just going to throw the proportions of your face right out of whack. So personally, I usually start in the same corner, and then I bring it up and above where my natural brow is, and then you highlight above. You'll have eyeshadow over top of where that brow is, just to help hide it even more. Because, I mean, if you look and you can see it still, but from even a little bit of a distance, it's completely gone. So that's today's quick little tutorial. Thanks for watching.